There's a special kind of fear that only comes out at night, when the world is asleep and the usual sounds of life fade away. Other, older sounds take their place. A creak in the floorboards, a whisper on the wind, the sense that you are not quite as alone as you thought. Tonight, we're diving into that darkness. We have 3 stories, all allegedly true, from people who experience the terror that lurks in the dead of night. So, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and pray that what you hear stays right here in these stories. Our first story comes from a man named Mark, who was a long-haul truck driver. He'd spent countless nights on the empty highways of America, and nothing really fazed him anymore, or so he thought. One night, he was driving through a desolate stretch of desert in Nevada. It was around 3 a.m. The road was a straight, dark ribbon under a starless sky, and his only company was the hum of his engine. Suddenly, his headlights caught something on the side of the road. It was a woman, standing perfectly still, wearing what looked like a vintage wedding dress. Mark slowed down, concerned. It was the middle of nowhere, miles from any town. As he got closer, a cold dread washed over him. Her dress was tattered and dirty, and her face, it was pale, unnaturally so, with eyes that seemed too big and too dark. She didn't wave for help. She just stood there, staring at his truck as it approached. His instincts screamed at him to keep driving, to floor it, and not look back. So he did. He sped past her, his heart pounding in his chest. He risked a glance in his rearview mirror. She was gone. He breathed a sigh of relief, thinking his tired mind was playing tricks on him. But then, he looked in his passenger side mirror, and she was there, running alongside his truck, keeping pace with him at 60 miles per hour. Her face twisted in a silent, horrifying scream. Her mouth wide open, but no sound coming out. Mark slammed his foot on the gas, pushing the truck to its limits. His eyes locked on the road ahead, too terrified to look in the mirror again. He didn't slow down until the sun started to rise, and when he finally stopped at a brightly lit truck stop, he was shaken so badly he could barely get out of the cab. He never drove that route at night again. Some say she's a ghost, a bride who met a tragic end on that lonely highway, forever running, forever screaming into the silent night. For our second story, we go from the open road to the supposed safety of a family home. This comes from a woman named Chloe, who was babysitting for a wealthy family in a large, isolated house. It was her first time at this house, and the parents had assured her their 2 children, a boy and a girl, would be asleep the whole time. The house was huge, filled with antique furniture and unsettling portraits that seemed to watch her every move. After checking on the sleeping kids, she settled onto a large sofa in the living room to watch TV. About an hour into a movie, the phone rang. Chloe answered, and a man's raspy voice on the other end said, "Have you checked the children?" She was spooked, but assumed it was the father calling to check in. She replied, "Yes, they're fine, fast asleep," and hung up. 20 minutes later, the phone rang again. It was the same man, the same raspy voice. "Have you checked the children?" This time, Chloe was annoyed. "Yes, I just told you. They're fine," she said, a little more sharply, and hung up. She tried to go back to her movie, but an uneasy feeling settled in her stomach. The house suddenly felt too big, too quiet. The phone rang a 3rd time. "Have you checked the children?" The voice was more insistent now, urgent. Fear started to prickle her skin. "Who is this?" she demanded. There was a pause, and then the man chuckled, a low, chilling sound. "Why do you care who I am? You should be more concerned with the children, Tenehunga." Now, Chloe was terrified. She called the police. She gave them the address and explained the creepy calls. The dispatchee on the other end told her to stay calm and that they would trace the call, but it would take a few minutes. To keep her on the line, the dispatcher asked her to describe the man's voice. As she was talking, the dispatchee suddenly interrupted her. "Ma'am, get out of the house right now. The calls are coming from inside the house. They're coming from the upstairs extension." Chloe dropped the phone and her blood ran cold. The upstairs extension, the one right next to the children's bedroom. She didn't scream. She didn't even breathe. She bolted for the front door, ran out into the night, and didn't stop until she saw the flashing lights of the police cars racing up the long driveway. The police found the children safe, still asleep in their beds. But in the closet of their room, they found a man, huddled in the corner. When they searched the home, they found that the phone line had been cut. The calls weren't coming from the upstairs extension. The man in the closet had been using a second cell phone. He had been watching her the entire time. Our final story tonight is a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying things aren't ghosts or intruders, but something far more unexplainable. This happened to two college students, Liam and Haas, who decided to go camping in a national forest known for its strange disappearances and eerie folklore. They were city boys, looking for an adventure, and they laughed off the local legends as campfire stories. They hiked deep into the woods, far from any marked trails, wanting to feel truly isolated. They set up their tent near a small, still lake as dusk began to fall. The woods grew silent, except for the crackle of their fire. As the night deepened, a thick, unnatural fog rolled in from the lake, blanketing their campsite. It was so dense, they could barely see the fire in front of them. Then, they heard it. A sound from across the lake. It wasn't an animal. It was a voice. A soft, melodic humming. It was beautiful, but deeply unsettling. It sounded like a lullaby, but it was coming from the middle of a dark, fog-shrouded forest at 2 in the morning. Josh, trying to be brave, called out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" The humming stopped. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a voice, a sweet, feminine voice, replied from the fog. "I'm lost. Can you help me?" Liam and Josh looked at each other, their bravado gone, replaced by a primal fear. "No one should be out here. Stay where you are. We'll call for help in the morning," Liam shouted, his voice trembling. The voice from the fog giggled. It was a childlike sound, but it held no warmth. "But I'm so cold, and the water is so dark." Suddenly, they heard splashing. Not frantic splashing, but slow, deliberate wading, getting closer and closer to their side of the lake. They grabbed their flashlights, pointing the beams into the thick fog, but the light just bounced back, illuminating nothing but a wall of white. The wading sound stopped right at the edge of the shore, just a few feet from their tent. They held their breath, listening. They heard a soft, wet scraping sound on the ground, the sound of something dragging itself out of the water. They scrambled backward, tripping over their gear, their hearts hammering against their ribs. They didn't wait to see what it was. They abandoned their tent, their supplies, everything. They just ran. They ran blindly through the dark woods, branches whipping at their faces, falling and getting back up, driven by pure terror. They didn't stop running until they stumbled onto a road, hours later, as the first light of dawn broke through the trees. They never went back for their things, and they can't explain what they heard that night, but they say that sometimes, when it's quiet, they can still hear that soft, melodic humming in the back of their minds, a lullaby from the dark. And that's where we'll leave it for tonight. 3 stories of the terror that waits in the darkness, when the world is quiet and our guard is down. What do you think? Were these overactive imaginations, or encounters with something truly terrifying from the other side? Let me know your own spooky stories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and whatever you do, sleep tight.